Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed that first video. I'm still not going to reveal who the commander is in the title of the videos. I'll probably change those titles within a week or so once everyone's gotten to see. I'm playing against Nerdy Digger and I have two games to show you against my opponent. And of course, I am playing Meren of Clan Nel Toth. And Nerdy Digger is playing Nin the Pain Artist. I think Meren's probably favored in this matchup, maybe 60%, barring Soul Ring Mana Crypt out of them. So I see a very iffy opening hand. I have some credit to me though. I have my opponent's going first. Nerdy Digger's going first. So I have turn 2 Fleshbag Marauder if they try to push out an early Nin against me. I have turn 1 Deathrite Shaman. And if I draw any fetch land that turns Deathrite on, or if they play a fetch land, and I might hide Deathrite Shaman in the hope that they push a fetch out. I have Skull Clamp to equip Deathrite and start going in the red zone if I want. It also gives the ability that Nin can't block Deathrite without killing it once I clamp it. I have Duress for the turn that I intend to resolve Meren. So even though this is a little bit of a sketchy hand, I do have 3 mana. If my opponent has a Wasteland or a Strip Mine, I'm in deep trouble. But I think this is definitely a keep here. So I do get a draw as well, so that helps. Like a champ, Wooded Foothills, green fetch. All right, in we go to the Bayou. Drop Deathrite into play. They have no response. Island. Smells like a mana drain to me. More green sources off the top, like the best player. I'm going to push the Skull Clamp out here, and my opponent's going to push the Leak in, so definitely correct to not deploy the Ancient Tomb and go for the turn 2 Meren here. Nothing feels worse than getting Meren mana drained, so not going to expose myself to that when my opponent has blue open, and I can just sit back and play a value game. So I could duress them here. It doesn't seem like much value. I'd rather save the duress for the turn that I can duress backed up by Meren. This Ancient Tomb is going to be able to allow me to do that, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next turn. So my plan is just to use Deathrite to eat the mana leak here. Let's see. Island. Fine by me. Tap and untap. Eat that. Get some 2 damage in. Crop Rotation. Very useful magic card, especially in this, where I have so many good utility lands. Duress them, and my opponent plays Dissolve on my Duress. Comments, I'm not going to pop chat out because I looked before the game and I started recording, and it does show all of our conversations and the entire log, and I don't want to spoil this game. Even though, if you watch my previous video, you already know the result. So we were talking, might as well get the Scry. Like, if you know that's the card I'm going to take, might as well, you might as well get the Scry 1. And B, hide the rest of the information in your hand. I don't know if you have Force in your hand, so I could probably very well take Dissolve over Force. I mean, I'd probably take Force. So eat the land that I fetched away, and Meren's down. Exactly what I need. Nin baited. So now my only hope is I want to try to bait out a counterspell. So I'm going to float black, and I'm going to sacrifice my Swamp with a Crop Rotation. And this is a total bait spell. They have to assume that I'm going to be getting Gaia's Cradle, Phyrexian Tower, because I already have, or Phyrexian Tower, I already have Ancient Tomb. Now, we were chatting before the game. Despite being a subscriber, Nerdy Digger has no idea what this deck is. They have not seen a single gameplay because there haven't been any on my channel yet. So they don't know what's in this deck yet, which is one of the very interesting things that I don't get to do often when I'm playing against subscribers. They don't, Nerdy Digger, for their credit, doesn't take the bait. I'm going to go get the Cradle just because it produces the most mana. Ancient Tomb number 2. So I'm going to Fleshbag Marauder. Second bait spell. I gotta get Nin off the board. I cannot let her sit. Make a little bit of a misplay here. I tap mana first. I should have attacked with Meren. I mean, I guess, yeah, attack with Meren. They won't block, get 3 damage in. and then use Toxic Deluge. I do have, if they have days, I do have the Deathrite Exile Swamp to be able to pay for the days, notably. And I pay 2 life here just to kill Deathrite Shaman and get myself an experience counter, bringing Deathrite Shaman back during the end step. Meren crashes in for 1. Alright. What was also pretty interesting is 1 damage once doesn't change, or does it change? No, it reduces my clock by 1, because she's 3-4, not a 4-4. Nin comes back down for 4 mana. And my opponent comments, oops, I forgot you had Fleshbag on top. Yeah, pretty big misplay. So I'm going to, what you see me doing is I'm tapping Cradle in response to Fleshbag trigger, so I get an extra mana this way. I'm going to eat the Swamp out of my yard, slam Sadistic Hypnotist, eat their hand, and once they saw the Hypnotist, I think Nerdy Digger knew the game was most likely locked up. I have them in a pretty tight hold here, so I'm going to take the Sadistic Hypnotist back, specifically because if they have a way to get back into this game, it's going to be by drawing cards. It's not going to be by playing Nin, because I have an answer to Nin every end step, as long as Meren's in play. So I'm going to get the answer to their hand, most importantly. My opponent says, oh, I might still be in this. Rolling Earthquake for 4. Sorry, I spoiled that one. As soon as you start seeing the X off the red mana, you gotta assume. Kills Meren. You got it, man. Alright. Land and War Elves. Very clutch top deck here. And if you can count to 6, you'll see how. Get a Phyrexian Tower. Not even gonna need it. Get Meren back. Get back Fleshbag. Sack Fleshbag. Kill Nin the third time? Third time. Cost an inordinate amount of mana. Nerdy Digger has not gotten 1 activation off, and now it's well and truly over. With Liliana on the stack, my opponent concedes, knowing that they will not get back into this. Now I have each player discards every turn. I am at 5 devotion, or 5, not devotion, experience, and the game is well and truly over. My plan here is tick up Liliana, everyone discards a card. I don't need Hypnotist to come back during the end step, so I'm going to give back the Deathrite Shaman and start using it to pressure their life total additionally for 2 cards, or 2 life, 2 life, 3 life. So I'm dealing 7 to them every turn, so they're on a 3-turn clock, and Lily is still in play, doing value for me. So they can never keep a card in their hand, and I have answers to Nin in the form of Fleshbag Marauder. And Meren getting back value every turn. It's just absolutely backbreaking. On to the next game. So, let's hide that. Alright, game 2. I know I spoiled the result by showing it. Sorry, guys. And girls. Nin, Meren. So I mull my first hand. Sorry, I just skipped through it. I don't think it was a little bit too loose on mana. So you Green Sun Zenith hand. The only thing that makes this hand better is Phyrexian Tower. If I could only draw one. That's not it. I don't need the mana. I'm going to push that to the bottom. Mana Vault. Good start. Get the Sylvan Scrying. That reads, get target Phyrexian Tower out of your deck. Green Sun Zenith for Dryad Arbor. So much turn 1 ramp in this deck. Get a Skull Clamp. And I am not going to walk into Counterspell. I absolutely refuse to let Meren walk into Counterspells needlessly. So I'm going to play this first, play around days. Even though I could bog them, there's a niche situation where if they have specifically Vesuva in their deck, they can copy my bog that's in play and exile my graveyard. And if I have the option to play around that, I intend to. We chat about Steve and like, oh, just let me have him. He's not that strong, right? And no, Steve is absolutely 10 times better, but feels really bad countering Sakura Tribe Elder. I don't know how I picked up the names. Maybe it's just an abbreviation, STE, and Steve. So I guess that's how I picked up the name Steve. Alright. There's lots of jargon for EDH. There's Bob, Steve, Tiago. So I'm going to go get a Forest, because I have additional black mana here. Get a tapped Overgrown Tomb. Top deck City of Brass, fantastic. Sylvan Scrying for Phyrexian Tower. I'm going to Reclamation Sage. another bait spell. And this sort of says you either have to use your Mana Vault for the counterspell, or I'm going to destroy it. Either way, Reclamation Sage turns off Mana Vault, which is fantastic here, because they needed this vault. And I'm sure that my opponent was hoping that I was going to push Meren into that mana leak. Nah, man, I'm not going to run into that. I've played enough games with Meren to smell a counterspell. Nature's Claim, pretty useful, so I might be able to set up a turn where I can Rec Sage plus Nature's Claim to clear out some artifacts. Clamp my Dryad Arbor, get some draw. Wood Elves, gonna counter? No, I get the Wood Elves. Get a Forest into play. Sensei's top activation. My opponent's still not untapping their vault wisely. I would just destroy the vault in upkeep before they draw. If during this game, as soon as I picked up Nature's Claim, I set a stop in the upkeep, so that way if they ever untap vault, I will destroy it in response. And you see I keep Obsidian Brass almost the entire game. Get a land, and I decide that now is the time. I'm going to try a Birthing Pod. Going to let me have this, and this is as threatening a card as Meren of Clan Nel Toth, perhaps more so, because this gets other creatures out of my deck. Meren limits me to what is in my graveyard, and in play, and in my hand, I guess. But Birthing Pod is definitely a threatening card, and my opponent lets it go to exile. Can't let that happen. So Dissipate out of hand. Doesn't have the drain. Meren, get back the Dryad Arbor. I have no experience. Let's get some value, guys. Alright. Sensei's top activation. See some cards. My opponent's at 2 cards in hand, notably. So now I'm at the point of, alright, how do I remove their hand? They're keeping up this Nin activation continuously, so I have to be able to deal with his hand at some point. Skull Clamp performs insane value this game. I'm going to strip mine, take them off Sulphur Falls. Now, there's a reason I don't strip mine islands. A, it feels really bad to get strip mine countered by Gush. B, I have Carpet of Flowers in this deck, so if I ever get Carpet of Flowers, I want my opponent to have a higher island count. Now, they may have Vidalcan Shackles, huh? It's Nin, it should have Vidalcan Shackles in the list. So there is thought to taking them off islands. I do have Nature's Claim to be able to deal with Vidalcan Shackles, though. And I won't pop this claim until I think I'm well and truly in the driver's seat. Get back to Dryad Arbor, and I'm just going to use this Skull Clamp Dryad Arbor to get value as the game goes on. My opponent gets a 3-card draw off their Nin. Feels bad. Plays a Coalition Relic. Get a Sylvan Caryatid, so I'm going to take some more experience. Get the Carpet Flowers I was just talking about. And this is better than Soul Ring when you're playing against a deck with islands. So I play this in main 1. And the way the Carpet Flowers actually works, even though the paper version doesn't say it, is it triggers during each main phase if you haven't yet used added mana to your mana pool with it this turn. So get in for 4, and it triggers. So play it main 1, trigger it main 2, better than a Soul Ring because it's colored mana. Get some stuff, put Sylvan Caryatid in play, sacrifice Sylvan Caryatid, and I'm pushing myself up to 3 experience this turn because I want to get this Reclamation Sage back into play. So I'm going to go for the top destruction line here. So they activate top in response, because I got to assume that they wouldn't have slammed Coalition Relic if they had Shackles. So because they put Relic out instead of playing 3 and 2 activating Shackles, now's got to be the time that I try to get this top off the board, because it's going to give them a little bit more dig. So Nature Claim, and it's a negate. Not a lot of targets in this deck for negate, so they did get value out of it. I'm surprised they didn't negate the Carpet of Flowers, truth be told. Get a charge counter, fine by me. It's alright, I'm going to keep getting value off Meren. It's not the last time Reclamation Sage will enter the battlefield. Sensei's top back in play. Worn Power Stone. Doesn't really feel good. Yawgmoth's Will. Wow, what a top deck. God, if you could top deck 1 card, this is definitely up there. I think this or Demonic Tutor would have been... Like, if I could DT for any card to draw, it would be Demonic Tutor or Yawgmoth's Will. Probably Demonic Tutor, because I can DT for Will and then DT again off the Will. Alright, let's get some cards. Get in for damage, get some cards. Animate Dead. Destroy the Relic. Clamp the Sage. Draw more cards. Get a Bloodghast. And I decide to go for the value Will here. I'm going to Nature's Claim their mana. Take my first damage off City of Brass. Play a Wood Elves. Wood Elves gets Condescended. My opponent's got rapid hybridization at end of main 1, which is the correct time to kill Meren if you got the kill spell. Unfortunately, I got a lot of value off that will. All right, let's take a look at this. I took Coalition Relic off the board this turn. I took 1 Power Stone off the board. Condescend was torn out of their hand. They used their rapid hybridization, and I'm still at 5 cards in hand. I have Bloodghast and Skull Clamp going for my next turn. They are not going to be recovering very easily from this board state. Flame Tongue Kavu kills my Frog Lizard. Might as well, right? Before I can clamp it and sack it. Bloodghast, value Bloodghast, get Trinisphere, play Elf, get lands, slam the Sphere. It's the turn, get back Sage, kill Seat of the Synod, cut him off mana. Rite of Replication, kill Meren, fine by me, I got mana. Chains of Mephistopheles, what a top deck. Really shuts down what Nin is trying to do. Now, notably, this is not an option. If you have a card in your hand, you must discard a card. So you can't selectively choose to mill or discard to draw. Mill or rummage when you would draw an extra card. You must rummage if you have cards. Or you mill cards and don't get any draw. So Hypnotist, eat their hand. I tap 2, forget that I have Trinisphere in play. Sometimes I make mistakes, guys. Clamp the Hypnotist, sack Hypnotist to itself, target my opponent, just good practice. Target the top again, and my opponent comments, top plus Trinisphere doesn't feel great. I was like, yeah, does not feel good. They let the top die rather than having to spend 3 mana on their next turn to play it, and that would be their entire turn, playing Sensei's top. Unless they top deck a land here, basically. Ghost Quarter, fine by me. In back into play. Get some mana, play Bloodghast, clamp Bloodghast, draw more cards, Bloom Tender, Chains, Deed, Crash, Block Trade, get back, Steve, and I get Steve. I'm at 12 experience. I'm at virtually infinite experience. Nothing in the deck costs more than 5, I believe, currently. So there's really no way that I keep needing this experience. Right now I'm trying to just thin lands out of my deck. There's only so many basics. Notice 4 left. So I use Steve. They use Ghost Quarter in response, which I disagree with. Should have killed their own tower or kept the mana, because honestly, they're not getting back into this game with so few mana. Mana sources, wow. English is hard for me today, apparently. Get a Fauna Shaman. I'm going to Imperial Seal myself. Crash in. They nin my Meren, and I'm not sure if this was a mistake with chains or they knew what they were doing. My opponent says in chat, you realize my plan is to mill you out now. Just laugh. I think my opponent, Nerdy Digger, knows that they're not going to be able to come back into this game at this point. Meren's going through the motions here. So what this lets me do, and you get to see chains working out, is because X is 3, not a card I've drawn this turn. I get to discard cards to draw cards. I get to draw the Contamination, sweet, that I Imperial Sealed for. 15 life. Forget to float mana because I wanted to use Crop Rotation. Duress away that. Should have floated green mana. Good. Let's be good at Magic. Tap mana, accidentally use Ancient Tomb, go get the Stronghold to well and truly cement my victory. Now that I can activate Stronghold and get back creatures during my draw step and my end step, I don't think that Nerdy Digger will ever get out of this. Because that means I can get back Hypnotist during my draw step and be able to use Hypnotist during my main one. Kill the Mana Vault, good practice. They play Great Furnace and scoop the game. Very fun. I look forward to playing against Nerdy Digger in future games with future decks, or even Meren again. Definitely enjoyed it. I think Nin is definitely one of my stronger matchups with Meren. She is just such a value engine that she can outpace decks like Nin. If you think about it, Nin draws 3 or 4 the first time she comes down, and then ideally, if you get a second activation, 7, 8. But that's barring no interaction, and my deck is entirely based around the idea of interacting with my opponent, forcing them to play the game that I want to play instead of the game that they're looking to play. And at a certain point, I'm going to lock down the game with spells like Trinisphere, Chains of Mephistopheles, Contamination. Because I have this green source in play, next turn I have Crow's End Grip, and I will keep Crow's End Grip up the entire game at this point. So that way, if Vidalcan Shackles ever does come down, I will never lose control of a creature. I will kill Shackles in response, and the game is over. Definitely enjoyed this. Nerdy Digger, watching the video, great shout out. I really very much enjoyed it, and it looks like you have a pretty spicy brew with Nin here. Are you familiar with Brian Weissman's list? Was this inspired by it? If not, I definitely recommend checking out some of his Nin work. There's quite a lot of videos that he has on his channel featuring Nin the Paint Artist. If you want a link to his channel, go to my channel, and then in the right hand side you will see featured channels. Those are channels that I recommend, and any of my subscribers who are interested in my gameplays and enjoy competitive EDH, check out. There's some great stuff there by Lab Maniacs, Nate Prodzek, Brian Weissman, and I think I have one other at the moment, but there is some absolutely fantastic gameplays out there. It might be Clone Gameplays by Clonehead, which is just a fantastic format that they do live gameplays, not as competitive though. Alright, let me know in the comments down below what misplays I made that I did not point out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video to anyone you think might enjoy. Give me a big like and a comment if you're enjoying Meren of Clan Nel Toth. It is definitely one of my favorite decks. And hey guys, you asked for non-blue deck. I'm giving you a non-blue deck. It just feels like you're playing blue every now and then with the amount of value that you can get off this deck. Alright, see you all in the next one.